Hi everyone, Sherwood Small Pets here. Happy New Year. Oh my god, that's hilarious. She just hopped in onto the shelf. So Sherwood Small Pets here to wish you a happy 2015. I've got my curly girls here and Mr. Sherwood. You want to say hi?
Hello.
And we're just gonna do a different kind of video today. And I've talked to a lot of people from both YouTube, Facebook, all that kind of thing, saying how much they really wanted curly pigs after seeing Lilo and Gwen. And I understand that feeling because the first time that I ever saw one of Squeak Dream's videos, I fell in love, of course, with the curly breeds and immediately thought how cool it would be to have my own, because they're just so pretty and so different and a little weird, admittingly. And then I was talking to some folks at Piggles and how they're not big on adopting out curly pigs the very odd time that they ever get them to like inexperienced people because of how much work they are. And so with those two things kind of going on in my head, I've thought maybe I should, because you've seen my videos with my girls with their bows in their hair and, this adorable long fuzzy curliness that is them. And my boyfriend and I were talking about how, that's one side of curly pigs, but there are lots of things to consider before getting into them yourself. So without further ado, we're going to talk about curly pigs today. So on the one side, curly pigs, as you've seen from my girls, and I'm not going to say this is a rule because there's obviously exceptions, but there are, I've met a lot of curly pigs in the last 6-7 months, and I would say that it's fairly safe to say that these curly pigs are known for their really sweet nature. They're either docile, really calm, just generally friendly, lazy, sometimes slow, but they are famous for this, and that is one definite reason why we were so drawn. They're literally hanging out in a shelf. I think that's fantastic. But that's one of the things that drew us to these breeds, is that they're known for seeing such nice guinea pigs, and we really wanted to get into that. We wanted friendly ones, and we thought, why not? If they're going to be funky looking, they might as well have good natures. So that was a big thing for us. Another thing is they are really, really cute. Even my mom, the first time she met Gwen and Lilo, she was like, they are so weird looking. And then she's like, but I love it. And you're hard pressed to find folks that think otherwise. In the guinea pig community, I'm sure there are people that aren't, but whatever, that's different. I mean, at the Royal, I had folks being like, what kind of rabbit is that? Because, they clearly look like bunnies. But there's lots of pros to these creatures. One is their personalities. Two is their funky looks. They're a little slow, but that's, But there are lots of things that that we had to consider before we got them. And we were really lucky to get to meet a bunch of people that knew a lot about them, that let us kind of into the world of curlies before we got our own. So first thing you have to realize, and that I genuinely had no idea when we got into them, is there are more than one kind of curly pig. We have two. In North America, there's 3. I know there are way more varieties of guinea pigs over in Europe, especially the UK, but for North Americans, there's 3. There's Gwen, who is the most common. She's a Texel, so she is a curly version of a Silky or a Sheltie, depending on where you are. And then there's Lilo. She is a Boucle, also known as an alpaca if you're in the UK. And she is the curly version of a Peruvian. So for those of you that don't know, Silkies, their hair goes straight back, and Peruvians, their hair goes straight forward over their faces. So that's why they look so different. What are you even doing with your life? That's not where you go. You go in there. Because 2 pigs are supposed to squish in there. And then the third variety that's common in North America is called the merino. And a merino is a curly version of a crested. So, or coronet. Yes, there we go. My bad. So they have, their hair doesn't grow quite as long as these 2 girls. And they have a crest on top of their head. So it looks like a crown. But those are the 3 varieties that you can get here. They're all more or less common than the other. Bouclés are not common at all yet, although they are gaining popularity, especially in Ontario. And merinos, I don't know many people that have merinos based on like a purposeful merino litter. Most end up like there's a merino in a litter of Texels or bouclés. So you have to know that there's different kinds because each kind has a different kind of coat care. But yes, so to get that level of cute, it takes a lot of work. Love, how many times a week would you say we have to look for like mats and stuff in their hair?
Quick check every day, but serious like at least once a week.
Yeah. The thing about curly pigs versus regular long-haired pigs is that while their hair grows the same way, you don't really brush curly pigs so much as you have to comb through them with your fingers. Because, let me grab one of these girls and see how this goes. Come here. Okay. So if we look at her coat, her bum's just been trimmed, by the way, because to keep it neat. But she's got really tight ringlets. And it doesn't help that she's white, so it's difficult to show, but if you brush them with a regular brush, they will flatten. And that's not what their coat's supposed to do. It's also very hard on their coat because it's so coarse. So what you have to do is kind of go through it layer by layer, and trust me, there's lots. If women could all have the volume that guinea pigs have with their hair, no one would use mousse, ever. But you have to comb through it, and she's going to leave me now, with your fingers to make sure that they actually can get dreadlocks. So, and trust me, it's not a good look. It gets, like, you can get hay woven into it, poop. It's lovely. So you have to go through that all the time. And if something does form, it usually forms around their butt, because, well, you get the idea. You do have to trim them out, which you have to be super careful because they fidget, shockingly. And you have to be really wary of that. But yeah, their coat, unlike short-haired guinea pigs, like, of course, neither of them are out. But unlike short-haired guinea pigs, their hair constantly grows. It doesn't, just fall out and shed. It grows consistently. And so you have to cut it. Show pigs can never be cut or trimmed. But regular pigs, like ours, have to get butt cuts very regularly. Full cuts, not so much, but this is adorable. I can't get over. We just got a new shelving thing, and this is just awesome. Did not see this coming for playtime. But we had to give Lilo a full cut, which took about 45 minutes. And Gwen just a butt cut the other day, and that took almost half an hour because you have to get them to calm down. You have to, get all the spots that, like, especially around their legs where, can be problematic, but you have to get everything. And their upkeep there's a lot of it. With the upkeep, you have things like baths. I personally don't like giving baths to guinea pigs unless they need them. The one thing, like, Robin Hood and Little John have only been bathed once in the time that I've had them. I don't like bathing them unless they need it, because they can get cold, they can get chilled, they can get stressed, and I don't see the point. These girls have each had, well, Lilo's had 1 full bath, Gwen has had a full bath, and 3 butt baths, because they have the longer hair. Therefore, when they pee, sometimes they just lay in it, because, what better place to sleep than in a puddle of your urine? So you have to make sure that you have time for that. You have to make sure you have good shampoo, which is very costly. You have to make sure that you dry them properly, and that you can take the time to do that. And that takes, their baths take over an hour each by the time they're dried, and well, that's not even fully dried, just because their hair is so thick and coarse that the water, it takes forever to make sure you get all the soap out. And so you have to make the time for that. And there's a reason some people are like, oh, just leave them long, you know, it's an aesthetic thing. A reality with them is it's not safe. Really long hair can cause buildups in places you don't want. It can be dangerous in the sense that they can actually pull out their own hair with their nails, and that's really painful. And it can happen quite easily, which is why it's important to keep the hair around their legs trimmed. Especially with babies, because they have really sharp nails. Where are you going? You're venturing off the playmat. Yep, there we go. I have a list. I'm going to consult my list. Oh, that's true. Other problems with long-haired pigs is the fact that it provides an excellent thing for pigs to barber each other. Gwen is a notorious self-barber. However, she's also taken quite a few chunks out of Lilo. And this is, I guess, learned behavior because now Lilo does it. And they both do it to me. So that's one thing. It can cause either anxiety, it can start weird fur patterns. But the other thing with long hair is because it's so long, sometimes it's harder to notice things like injuries. Gwen got a scratch on her back from when Lilo was back, well, this was a while ago, when Lilo was still small. We didn't notice it until I was searching for mats one day, and she kind of almost jumped out of my arms because I hit a sore spot. It didn't draw any blood or anything like that, but it was just a sore area that I hadn't noticed because her hair was covering it. So it hides things like that. It can hide mites and lice. So if your pig ever gets that, Lord forbid, you have to, you know, cut them right down. And then those are the fun things about their coat. Now, interestingly, their coats can also provide super fun obstacles when it comes to their cage. I will show you. I don't know if this is going to show up on the camera. But there's hay, literally like pieces of hay everywhere in their cage. And it's not because they like to drag their hay and eat it. It's because their the hay and their litter catches on their bums and drags everywhere. It's not as bad now that their bums have been trimmed, but it still goes everywhere. There's always hay on them. And that's orchard grass, that's Timothy, it doesn't matter. Which I find, it's funny, but it's also a pain in the butt when you're trying to clean the cage. So that's an aesthetic thing more than anything, but it can be, you know, you don't want hay weaving itself and matting itself into their fur, because it's like mats and stuff just aren't healthy for them. It's not just how they look. So you have to be conscious of that. Curly pigs are wonderful, and if the maintenance doesn't scare you away, then they're awesome, awesome pigs, and I would recommend them 1,000 times over. They're addictive, I'm not even gonna lie. They're like guinea pigs on steroids, I think, for me anyway. But you have to consider all these things. Like they are daily maintenance that you don't have to spend on other guinea pigs. So, I don't know. I mean, if you think that doesn't sound so bad for getting your own... Why is my camera automatically zooming in on things? That's rather frightening. The technology is alive. But yeah, if you don't think that that's terrible and it's worth the cost of having your own personal sheep, then hey, I highly recommend it, because these pigs are so much fun. Their personalities really are tremendous, and as I say that, one of my pigs is running away. Oh no! Oh no! There we go. And yeah, they're a lot of fun. But I just thought I'd put that out there because I have had lots of people ask me, you know, where I got my pigs, how to get, like, where they can get their own, and all that, and if I would recommend curly pig. If I would recommend them. And I do. I wholeheartedly recommend them 100%. But like, I'm going to compare this to my, you know, thinking about getting a chinchilla video. You just have to weigh the reality. Yes, I put bows in my girl's hair. No, I don't leave them in longer than I take the pictures. Because let's be realistic. That won't work. But yeah, I just thought I'd share my thoughts and my experiences. And obviously there are different, like, these are not all be all end all points. Some pigs are different than others. Obviously all pigs have their own personalities. But these are my experiences and my thoughts. Since you guys frequently ask them, I thought I'd just point them out. And yes, I hope you guys all had an excellent Christmas and New Year's. I am still catching up on watching people's videos because when you leave the internet for a week, apparently the internet goes on. So I have lots to do, but I will see you all real soon. And yeah, take care everyone. Bye.